The euro currency is experiencing something it hasn't seen in quite a long time. That's a 4-day rally. That's right. The euro's been beaten up here over the last, we'll even call it over the last 6 months, but really in year to date, it hasn't really seen any real positive momentum. And after last Thursday's lows were put in, we've seen a little bit of a climb here. Yes, it may just be a little bit of a relief rally, possibly some short covering, but I think ultimately, it's any up trade in the euro at this point seems to be taken very positively. Certainly, there's a lot of other variables involved in the pricing of the currency right now with Brexit and with the dollar, with the ECB and other central banks and the uncertainties there. So I think that right now, any upticks, like I said, are welcomed. And this is one that we haven't seen in quite a while. I'm not getting overly ecstatic that this is going to continue, but certainly a nice surprise. And if we look at what the ECB is doing, well, we heard from them at the beginning of March that things aren't looking so great growth-wise and that they will continue their lending programs. They will continue to hold rates low for longer, and the growth numbers aren't going to be maybe as bullish as they'd hoped by mid-year, and possibly won't be able to raise rates at all in 2019, which I think many suspected before the announcement, but now it's really come on the heels. I think that's what's really dragging down the currency here is the fundamentals. It's the growth issue that we're seeing in all of Europe. And when you add in sort of the mix of Brexit, yes, Europe stands differently in a different position than does the UK, but certainly that is something that is going to have to keep an eye on and will continue to create maybe some unnecessary selling in the euro. So the euro currency, while it has seen a few up days in a row here, remains sort of bearish. And lastly, how is it stronger than the pound? I think as we look at the pound euro cross, it's near its year-to-date high on the pound side, with the idea that the pound is outperforming. Well, I think that the pound right now, while it is focused, the UK is focused mainly on Brexit, as is Europe. I think that the currencies are looking a little beyond what will happen. And yes, while we have questions about how the UK is going to make their resolution work, especially with the votes that we've been seeing, they voted down May's proposals. Now they're probably looking to extend it out a few months. That's going to buy the pound some more bullish time. But ultimately, I think the longer term, the euro is going to suffer based on the economics of the continent, not necessarily what happens in the Brexit deal. So right now, I think the pound outperforming the euro continues to outperform the euro, given the fact that the economics just don't make a whole lot of sense given what we've learned from the ECB. Likewise with the U.S., maybe seeing some growth numbers that aren't going to be as strong either. That's going to weigh as well. So right now, the euro currency certainly taking, from a macro perspective, struggling. Seeing those 4 up days is positive, but I'd look to see sellers step in relatively quickly here after the dust settles from today's vote. Likewise, after we get through maybe a possible resolution with the UK or an extension, some kind of period of extension, I look for sellers to resubmit themselves on the euro currency. So I'm looking for sellers to come in very quickly here in the coming days and weeks.